Let's talk about meiosis. Okay? Meiosis. Now, this is what's happening here. Here's the overall view of meiosis and mitosis, when each occurs, the significance of each. Meiosis, the only time you use a meiosis is to make an egg or a sperm. That's it. That's the only purpose, that's the only time that you're going to see meiosis occur. Once the egg and sperm unite, that's called fertilization, then you've got the full set. This has 23 chromosomes, that has 23 chromosomes. Fertilization occurs, and now you got 46 chromosomes. Haploid, haploid, diploid. Now this one cell is going to split up into two cells by way of mitosis. One cell will turn into two identical cells. Then those two cells will turn into 4 cells, 8 cells, 16 cells, 32, 64, 128, 256. I can't think this late. All right? And that's where this all happens, and it turns into the man and woman that we see here. Okay? So, the only purpose of meiosis is to make an egg and a sperm. That's it. Once you got you have the union happening, it's just going to be mitosis, mitosis, mitosis. You get differentiated and so forth, and that's where that happens. Okay? So, this is what's going to happen here. The best way I could explain meiosis is talking about, instead of 46 chromosomes, we're going to talk about 46 pairs of shoes. Who here has 46 pairs of shoes? Good. Who here has 50 pairs of shoes? You have 50 pairs? You have 50 pairs? Who has 100 pairs? Does she have more than 150? As far as I went up to, it was 208 pairs of shoes. I actually went there around. Because I do this meiosis thing like 4 times a year, and I get that and take a survey. 208 pairs of shoes. Don't know where they keep it. All right, so let's talk about pairs of shoes, okay? Now, we have a red pair of shoe here with red shoelaces. We have a green pair of shoes over here with green shoelaces. And that's all in a cell. Now, I am not going to draw 46 pairs of shoes. Not going to happen. So I'm just going to represent 46 pairs of shoes by 2 pairs of shoes. And you'll get the picture with this, okay? So you have a pair of chromosomes here and a pair of chromosomes over here. All right, 46 pairs. So you really have 92 chromosomes there, right? 92 shoes. But you have 46 pairs. Then this is going to go through a division. And you'll get a division that kind of looks like this. And you'll have one cell here and one cell over here. Now, this division that goes on over here is a first stage of meiosis, and it goes through what we saw with mitosis. It's going to have anaphase, it's going to have prophase, metaphase, anaphase, telophase. We call this first division something we call this is called meiosis 1. And in this division, a few things happened. We went from 46 pairs of chromosomes to 23 pairs here and 23 pairs here. Does that make sense? Right? 46 pairs of chromosomes here, 23 pairs here and 23 pairs here. Okay? Also, something else happened. We have green shoelaces on the red shoes. We got red shoelaces on the green shoes. Something where we're mixing chromosomes. How mom's genes are getting mixed up with dad's genes. We call this concept crossing over. And this is the reason why your brother and sister don't look alike. Then we have another division that happens. Again, it's going to go through metaphase, anaphase, telophase, or prophase, metaphase, anaphase, telophase, right? And this is called meiosis 2. And when we refer to anaphase in this division, we say anaphase 1. When we talk about metaphase 2, we're talking about metaphase during this division. Prophase 2 is here. All right, telophase 1 is up here. Does that make sense how the nomenclature goes? Okay. Now, you have 23 pairs of chromosomes here, and they divide into 23 chromosomes here, 23 here, 23 here, 23 here. We went from 46 pairs, a diploid, to a haploid here. You have half the number of chromosomes here. And each one of these cells is totally different than the one before it. This is a red right shoe with green shoelace. This is a left red shoe with a green shoelace. This is a right green shoe with a red shoelace and a green... I almost had it, but you know what I'm saying, okay? Each one of these is different. We could also add a tail to it if we wanted to. You get the picture, right? That these could become 4 sperm. Does that make sense? All right? So a lot of things are happening on here. Now, so it's showing the same thing here, but I use shoes. Now, normally what happens is you have here 23 chromosomes. So you're going to have this little sperm with 23 chromosomes there, and you're going to have it meet up with an egg with 23 chromosomes. Now, I'm just going to represent 23 chromosomes by a little red line there. And there's another red line there, 23. They're going to unite to make our full set. To make this is meiosis. To make this is meiosis. Fertilization occurs, and now each one of this is going to divide into 2 cells, and they'll be completely the same, identical. Mitosis. This will divide into 2 cells. And they will have the full set of chromosomes that's identical to the one above, and so forth. Meiosis to make one of these, fertilization, and then you got mitosis, 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 until it differentiates, it becomes a liver cell, an eye cell, whatever it needs to do. Does that make sense? Okay? Now, of course, you're in my class, so what happens when things go wrong? Okay? First off, here's where crossing over occurs. Chromosome over here, they cross over in meiosis 1, and now a piece of it goes, of the green goes on this one, a piece of the blue goes on this one. Crossing over. Okay? But what happens when things go wrong? This is called non-disjunction. This cell over here is going to split into 2. Worked out fine. This one splits into 2, works out fine. This is meiosis 2. This one split, but it all went to 1. Not here. This is called non-disjunction. The first one over in meiosis 1 didn't divide properly. So there's nothing here, but we have an extra set here, which means you got an extra set here. So non-disjunction, you're going to have an extra chromosome there, a third set that shouldn't be there. So if I use this as the same example, let's say the sperm has an extra set of chromosome, let's say 21. Now this unites here, you're going to have 3 there. That's going to go and divide mitosis, and all of these will be 3. This is a condition called trisomy. And if there happens to be trisomy occurring with a 21st chromosome, we call that trisomy 21, or better known as Down syndrome. That's what causes Down syndrome. Okay? So trisomies is the #1 cause of miscarriages. Okay? It's when we have 3 versions of one chromosome that occur in the same zygote. And it's due to non-disjunction. In most cases, they turn into miscarriage. MCC is the most common cause of miscarriages in the first trimester. Most of these don't make it. It's Mother Nature's way of saying this is not a good pregnancy. Okay? Down syndrome, yeah, they can survive, but most trisomies, there's so many different things wrong with the brain and the heart and the digestive system, it's not usually compatible with life. So they end up having a miscarriage. Now, my field of expertise with OBGYN, I've seen a lot of miscarriages. And how do you explain that to the mom? It's difficult. But I usually just tell them, and it's the truth, that, you know, the fathers in your chromosomes didn't mix and didn't combine in a right way. It doesn't mean you've done anything to cause this. There's nothing that you could have done to prevent this. It wasn't her fault. It was just this Mother Nature's way of saying this is not going to be a good pregnancy. And it doesn't mean that the next pregnancy is going to have a miscarriage. You take each pregnancy different. It's when you have 3 miscarriages in a row, then you get the $1 million workup. But it doesn't mean, like, you could have a miscarriage, a baby that's born, and another miscarriage. It's not 3 in a row. Okay? Just to give you a heads up about that. Okay? So, trisomies usually will abort themselves by having a miscarriage. Even Down syndrome, the early on ones, they usually don't even last either. Okay? You have the extra chromosome, many different features. The other 2 that are pretty common is trisomy 18, which is called Edwards syndrome, and trisomy 13, which is Patel syndrome. Usually they have, if they do survive, they only last for about 1 year old, and that's about it. Okay? I won't ask you about these different things here. I would ask you, what is trisomy? What is non-disjunction? What's the most common cause of miscarriages?
What would be your definition of non-disjunction?
Non-disjunction is that the separation of chromosomes does not occur correctly in meiosis. Okay? So you have an extra chromosome that's going to happen. Alright, so now that you see the difference between mitosis and meiosis, I put this little chart together so you can see the differences, compare and contrast between the 2. So in mitosis, there's 1 division that occurs. There's 2 daughter cells that are created. The daughter cells are identical to the parent cell. These only occur with somatic cells, they're non-sex cells. And the end result is that you get 2 diploid cells having 46 chromosomes, i.e. 23 pairs in each new cell. Okay? When you compare this to meiosis, mitosis has 1 division, meiosis is 2 divisions. In mitosis you get 2 daughter cells, in meiosis you get 4 daughter cells. In meiosis, crossing over occurs, and that makes the 4 cells not identical with each other. It's the mixing of the DNA. These only occur with the gametes, the sex cells, the egg and the sperm. And the end result is that you get 4 haploid cells, i.e. 23 chromosomes in each new cell. Okay? Questions about that? I personally don't do well with charts, me studying, I'll just tell you that. It's just my thing. However, if you put here and make a chart yourself and you put in all the information, that's different. I mean, just putting a chart on the wall, I'm staring at it, I don't know how to study from that. But when you have mitosis, you say division over here, how many cells are created, and then you fill in the stuff, that's active learning. That just works best for me if I do it that way. Does that make sense?